Let's talk about pricing strategy. If you want to know how to price your coaching program, how to present it properly, and a couple other really important ideas around pricing, then watch this short compilation of some of my best videos where I'm going to share insights around pricing so you can help more people make more money and deal with a lot less resistance in the process. Enjoy. So let's say you've got a coaching program you charge $5,000 for, and you have a prospect that reaches out of the blue and says, how much do you charge for your coaching? Do not answer that question, because if you tell them it's $5,000, they have no context. So let's say they say, oh my God, you're crazy, that's too expensive for a health program. Let's just say that you said, hold on, I forgot to tell you, you also get a car with that. Situation changes now. Value is different, context is different. So the reason we don't want to present price early on is because there's no context. There's no conversation around the value, because value is in the eye of the beholder. And if someone's willing to drop $5K on a car, why are they not willing to drop $5K on their health? If someone's willing to invest $500,000 in their home, why would they not be willing to invest $5,000 in their real home? And this is a conversation that's very worthwhile having with prospects that you can't do in one-word emails back and forth. This is why you have to get people on the phone, have a conversation with them, see what's important to them, see if this is a must, and then the price makes a whole lot more sense when you've established the value that you can provide as it relates to what's important to them. Never present price to someone who isn't sold on your program first. Coaches, if you are on an enrollment call with a prospective client, don't even talk about price until you know they're sold on your solution. And the way you do that is when you finish talking toward the end of the call about your deliverables. The first part of the call is discovery, asking questions, making sure there's a fit. But at the end of the call, you ask this question on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, I just want to get off the phone now, this isn't for me. 10 being, this is exactly what I've been looking for, and I believe this process, your solution, is exactly what I need to win. Where do you find yourself? If they answer anything other than a 10, you ask them, what would make it a 10? If they do answer a 10, then you simply ask them, well, why do you say that? What makes you feel that way about this program? And so what they're doing now is they're selling you on why your solution is going to work for them. And only at that point do you then reveal the price. Because now any objections you're going to face are no longer about the program, because they've already told you why the program would work. So now we're just isolating it down to the financial stuff, which you can figure out logistically if they can afford it.
When I'm starting a business, Yuri, how do I think about pricing my product?
So I think, number one, are we talking about a product or a higher touch coaching business? If we're talking about a product, there's going to be a certain amount of commoditization, i.e. comparison to other things out there. So you have to look at, how do I create an experience with this product or result that is significantly better and something maybe I can charge a bit more for. I don't believe it makes sense entering a marketplace in the middle. Go to the top or go to the very bottom in terms of pricing. In my experience, it's just a lot easier to make a premium price work. A premium price is going to be relative based on your market. If you have a, I'm going to help you make money type of offer, you can charge more than I can help you improve your health, for instance. However, if we are working with people on, let's say, a health or wellness transformation, it's not a money-making offer, but the reality is that helping someone transform their health and working with them very closely to ensure it's an inevitable outcome, there's no reason you can't charge several $1,000s for that, like many of our clients do. So I think part of it is you have to recognize your marketplace, you have to recognize the outcome of what you're offering, and then don't even compare yourself to other people, because there's always going to be people that are charging as little as possible, maybe because they don't believe they can charge more, and then other people who are because they believe they can. And in any given market, there's always a segment who's willing to pay top dollar for the best experience, for the best outcomes. So I think pricing for me is really an internal mindset and a philosophical decision to make. So one of the challenging things about talking with a prospect on the phone is they're coming in expecting a certain price, and then you reveal your price and they're like, oh shit, I didn't think it was gonna be this much. How do you overcome that? Well, you can overcome this in a few ways, but one of them is called price anchoring. And ideally you want to price anchor before someone gets on the call with you so that they have some time to let this percolate. So here's how you can do this. Let's say in your marketing, for instance, in our case, we'll say a webinar, you say, well, here's why this is hard to do on your own. Number one is that you could invest tens of thousands of dollars and decades of your life like I did, to master this subject area. But that's not your job, that's mine. Your job is simply to look for who has done that to help you achieve the results. So what we've done there is I've just positioned, let's just call it $15,000 as what it cost me to acquire this expertise and years, i.e. lots of time, to become an expert in the subject matter. So that person now has planted in their mind $15,000 and a lot of time. When you speak with them on the phone and your offer is only $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and 12 weeks, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more attractive. So if you position your pricing in that context, in your marketing before your calls, when people jump on the call with you, they have a different expectation, which might not be up here anymore, it might be a little bit lower in terms of what they're willing to invest to work with you. And that's how you can get more people to say yes, because they're less shocked by the price you reveal to them on the phone. Okay, so an important consideration with your coaching business is your price point and its impact on your business model and vice versa. So let's say you're charging $1,000 for coaching. You don't need to get on the phone with people at $1,000. So the very nature of that business model is very different than if you were charging $5,000 for your health coaching program, because at a price point, I would say above $2,000, you're gonna wanna get on the phone with people. Now, if you get on the phone with people, the nature of your business model changes because now you have to do sales calls. And eventually you might wanna hire people to help you on that. But if you're charging under $1,000 or under $2,000, well, you don't need a sales team. You're not doing enrollment calls. It doesn't mean that that's easier, right? Neither one of them is easier. It's which one makes the most sense for you. But I'll tell you this, it's a lot easier to sell something for $5,000 over the phone than it is to get someone to buy something off a webpage for $1,000. That I can promise you. But if you don't wanna do the whole sales piece on the phone, then you have to understand the opportunity cost is a dramatic reduction in price and revenue, and at the same time, a very different skill set that you have to master, which is gonna be the written word to influence people to hit the buy now button at $1,000, which is not as easy as you might think. So price point and business model are very closely related, and your business model can influence your price point, and your price point can influence your business model. Here's the 5-letter word that allows you to charge more with your coaching business. Before I get to that, let me walk you through really quickly the price versus trust continuum. When you're selling stuff online and you're selling an ebook, you're typically gonna sell it off of a website. 29 bucks maybe? You can't sell it for 290, definitely not 2,900. Why is that? Because there's no trust with the person coming to your website. The second level above selling from your website is maybe selling directly from a webinar. Now from a webinar, you're building a bit more trust with the person who's watching. You can charge a little bit more than maybe 29 bucks, maybe a couple hundred. Above and beyond a webinar, now we're talking about getting people on the phone. Okay, cool, now we're having a conversation. There's a little bit more trust built, we can charge a higher price point. Again, assuming the solution is something they really, really want. And then finally above that, again, in the context of online, is we can jump on Zoom, right? Now there's more face-to-face connection, there's more trust being built. And obviously above and beyond that is in-person selling, which is the easiest to build trust and thus command premium prices. So if you haven't clued in yet, the 5-letter word to charge more is trust. So if you have a coaching offer that's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you're not gonna sell that from a website because there's no trust. You gotta get either in person with people, which is not easy, obviously or recommended. At the very minimum, jump on Zoom or jump on the phone with them to build that relationship. It's not about closing the sale, it's about opening a relationship. And when people sense that, they'll trust you more, and as a result, you're not gonna see your $5,000 offer as too expensive.